Baseball fans, you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. The Atlanta Braves have now extended left-handed pitcher Chris Sale to a 2-year, $38 million deal with a club option for 2026. And to be honest with you, I thought an extension was possible the moment we heard about the trade, because we've seen this happen before. If you think back to when we traded for Matt Olson, we sent Christian Pache and Shea Langoliers. The moment he stepped foot in Atlanta, he was signed long-term. Same with Sean Murphy. We sent Kyle Muller, William Contreras. The moment he came back, signed long-term. Chris Sale, though, not necessarily signed long-term. But for the Braves, if they're going to send away a valuable prospect, i.e. Vaughn Grissom, they're going to have to get some kind of length out of Chris Sale. And as much concern as there has been placed around Chris Sale's health or maybe his decline since having Tommy John back in 2020, I find it interesting that the Braves have solidified their belief with additional time and money up front for Chris Sale. We've spoken in depth about the trade for Chris Sale with Vaughn Grissom, so if you're looking for that, we've already spoken about it. That video is in the card above, but in this video, we're going to discuss the extension for Chris Sale and why it's a big deal. So why did the Braves extend Chris Sale? Let's talk about that first. You may be thinking, well, Tyler, isn't it obvious they want him for a couple more years? And yeah, that's true, but that's just the surface level. Let's talk a little bit more about why the Braves actually did this. Yes, it does give the Braves team control for Chris Sale through 2026 if they were to pick up his option, but the Braves already had him through 2025 if they picked up the option, for less money, at least up front. In the original deal in 2024, he was owed $27.5 million. The Braves were to pay $10.5 million of that, most of which was deferred until 2039. The Braves would have only been responsible for $500,000 to Chris Sale in the year 2024, later paying him $10 million come 2039. And then they would have a $20 million club option in 2025. That was the original deal. Now, in the extension, in his new deal in 2024, he will make $16 million up front. It's no longer deferred money. That deferred money does not exist anymore. In 2025, the Braves will pay him $22 million, which is slightly more than what the club option would have been. And he also has a new contract year possibility with a club option in 2026 that he did not have prior. That club option is $18 million. The Braves, again, no longer have to pay the $10 million of deferred money that is no longer looming over the front office come 2039. All of this money will be up front. For Sale, he gets another guaranteed year in 2025 with the possibility of pitching for the Braves in 2026. He also gets a little bit more money up front, though the $10 million does go away. So what does this do for the Braves? Well, to really see what this does for the Braves, you kind of have to fast forward to the end of this upcoming season. Because yes, Chris Sale will be here for this season. I believe he'll pitch well this season. But the real benefit for the Braves comes after 2025 and even into 2026. Chris Sale's option for 2026 gives Atlanta some security when it comes to the starting rotation, security that they did not have before this deal happened or even before they got Chris Sale. Remember, Max Fried is a free agent after this upcoming season. It's also unclear whether or not Charlie Morton will return after this upcoming season. If he is to retire, he is also a free agent. He could potentially go anywhere. I think the most common understanding is that he would likely retire before going anywhere else. But even so, we don't know where he's going to be. So I'm not saying that they both won't be back. That is a possibility. But there is nothing on paper at the moment contractually keeping them in Atlanta, guaranteeing that they will be in Atlanta for one reason or another. If they were to re-sign Fried at the end of this season or during this next season, they now have a guy in Chris Sale who could take the Charlie Morton role over once Charlie Morton was to retire, if that were to be the case, in a Fried, Strider, Sale-led rotation. That would be your 1-2-3 punch. If they cannot re-sign Max Fried, Atlanta, in theory, would still have a good 1-2 punch with Sale and Strider at the top of the rotation. Not to mention you have Elder. If Morton were to stay around, you still have Morton. That's a starter combination that Atlanta can work around and can build upon. Either through prospects, you have A.J. Smith-Shawver, Hurston Waldrop, Owen Murphy, J.R. Ritchie, and others that in the future could potentially be a factor. Or you could go the free agency route. You could go through the trade market, however you want to do it. But it's a rotation you could build upon. If you were to lose Max Fried and Charlie Morton without having Chris Sale already, you might have to go find 2 starters on the starter market, which I think this past offseason has shown us that's kind of hard to do for the right price. So again, this is just something to kind of give them a buffer zone. In a perfect world, Sale, Strider, Fried, and Morton would carry us into 2025. We don't know that that's going to happen, but we now know that Atlanta will have Strider and Sale for sure, plus Bryce Elder at least. Sale's extension provides a solid buffer for the Atlanta Braves. So, should the Atlanta Braves be sold on Chris Sale this early? The short answer is always wait and see. That's all we can really do is wait and see what happens in the 2024 season. But I do have a few things that may help give you a positive outlook when it comes to Chris Sale's future with the Atlanta Braves, what he will do in an Atlanta uniform. His 2023 ERA with the Red Sox was .430. No, it's not great. I'm well aware of that. But ERA is also not a perfect stat, especially when you are on the team with the 3rd worst defense. If you're going to judge a pitcher, always use fielding independent percentage over ERA. It only accounts for what a pitcher can control. His 2023 fielding independent percentage was .380. Is that phenomenal? No, but it's better than .430. Keep in mind, the stats I just told you shows that his defense was gaining him half a run on average due to the defense behind him or lack thereof defense behind him. He is also still above average when it comes to keeping runners off base. He had a 113 whip in 2023. Among qualified pitchers, that would be tied for 13th. He is not among qualified pitchers, though, but he's still effective when he is on the mound. Sale's strikeout per 9 is also still very good. He's got an 11 strikeout per 9. Among qualified pitchers all time, he has the highest strikeout per 9 with 11.1. I'm just saying that he can still be effective. His strikeout rate is still phenomenal. His walk rate's not through the roof. I think you put a solid defense behind him and you give him the Braves offense to put up runs, he can be very effective. And, I still think he's elite. I think it's all about keeping him healthy, and that's really what we have to wait and see on. But we would like to know how you feel about this Chris Sale addition and his extension. Please do let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you would do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything we have going on here at On Deck and, of course, with your Atlanta Braves. For now, though, that's going to wrap it up here. We'll see you next time at On Deck.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.